Thailand's Prime Minister is suspended from duty as the Constitutional Court reviews whether he has hit the legal limit for his term in office.
And Professor Thitinan Pongsudhirak from the Institute of Security and International Studies at Chulalongkorn University joins us live. Professor, I quote you from an article you wrote just last week, 5 days ago. You referred to the unlikely event of the Constitutional Court, and I quote you, going against Prayut Janosha. Not least because bodies such as the court are stacked with Prayut administration appointees. Now, given what has happened today, how would you read it?
The Constitutional Court is politicized. The judges, the 9-member bench, was handpicked during the coup period. General Prayut seized power, as you know, in May 2014. And all the court decisions so far have been in favor, going in the direction of the Prayut administration during the coup and after the coup, after the election. There's not been one case that the court has decided against Prayut. So I would be very surprised if this changes. Now, at the same time, today he's been suspended from office for now. I think that's not surprising because there have been cases like this in the past, and during the deliberations, the accused individuals, charged individuals, public officials were suspended. So, if they don't suspend Prayut, it would be inconsistent with past practices and past outcomes. It could also be a way of paving the road for eventual exoneration. I mean, look, apart from the court deciding all for Prayut in the past and handpicked during the coup era, the Prayut, there's no successor in sight. He wants to continue in office. There's an APEC summit meeting coming up within less than 3 months. So all told, all considered, it would be very surprising that if the court somehow convicts him or makes him leave office at this time.
So, Professor, you see this as an attempt to assuage public anger against Mr. Prayut. But you are suggesting what could happen is they suspend him, and then after a few weeks, they then decide, no, in fact, his 8-year term starts either in 2017 or 2019. Therefore, he can continue running. And if the elections take place, as they will do early next year, he can run for elections again and be Prime Minister for, depending on when you take the start, till 2025 or 2027. But should that happen, public anger will surely be even larger than it is now.
Yeah, part of the uproar and outrage is because Prime Minister Prayut is so unpopular now. And there's no way to get rid of him, to see the back of him from Parliament. He survived 4 no-confidence debates already. And until the next election is the only time that we can see the back of him. So a lot of people who dislike him for the economy, COVID handling, all kinds of issues, a lack of leadership, lack of competence. Moving forward, I think people want to find a way to get a new leadership in Thailand. So he wants to run again. I mean, I think now, the outcome is partly determined by powers behind the scenes, power plays that we don't see in the news. And so far, Prayut seems to have the green light since 2014 and then 2019 election to govern. As long as this green light stays, somehow the powers that be will try to manipulate the outcome of the election to repeat what happened in 2019 after the election. Now, you mentioned the 3 ways to look at this case. Today is actually 8 years since Prayut has been Prime Minister. There's no doubt about that. But do we count it from the coup period 8 years ago, or from the constitutional promulgation in 2016, or from the election in 2019? So I think that it would not be surprising if the court somehow comes out with a way of fudging, a constitutional fudging, in order for General Prayut to stay on.
Professor, you're suggesting that this fudging might happen because the green light that he is given to continue to govern is, and I quote you here, given by a regime that ultimately runs Thailand from within opaque but decisive corridors of power. Now, Mr. Prayut has presided over a worst economic situation in many years. He is a recent public opinion poll, 2/3 of people want him to leave right now. More than 170 lawmakers signed this petition to try to get rid of him. How long is this light going to stay green for this man?
I think it's being considered. I think that the green light is still green, but the cost is mounting. I mean, to keep the light green on Prayut, I think that the costs are mounting, and I think that the people behind the green lights, they must be thinking, what could be the alternative? At the end of the day, General Prayut, he comes from the military. He arranged for a new constitution. He gets to pick the Senate and so on. So all the forces are in his favor from the top echelons of power. But at the same time, there are a lot of voices from below, from the students, from the younger demographics, from also a lot of people who have been affected by the economic mismanagement and COVID mismanagement. So they want some change. So I think the people at the very top now must be thinking, how do they still get their way, keep power, keep control, but at the same time, placate public demands and grievances, because Thailand is at its lowest point at this time.
Thanks for that. Professor Thitinan Pongsudhirak from the Institute of, let's take a look here, Security and International Studies from Chulalongkorn University. Thanks so much for that.